Um, Today we're looking at understanding your well-being. Understanding your well-being. Yeah, so this is the Kingdom Wealth Reset, Kingdom Reset Personal Development program with Winning in Life Academy. So let me try and move to the next screen. We hope that I can just start it from here. I also have to be on the other screen to do them. Okay, so the first part of it is what is well-being? I'm just going to turn off the fan. So it says, what is well-being? It's good to look into this and to understand what well-being is. So I said it's the act of balancing your physical life and your emotional life and your spiritual life. So that act of balancing the three aspects and having all around wholeness, having all around wholeness, taking care of your spirit, of your soul, of your mind, and your body. So that's what well-being means. So it's the act of balancing. So it has to do with balancing, every aspect of your being. So that's called well-being. So it says, emotional and mind well-being affects behaviors and thoughts and feelings. So well-being is essential for coping with life. So having a balanced well-being is essential, for coping with life. All right. So then I've gone on to kind of try to break things down just to help you understand um, what well-being is when it comes to life, when it comes to human being or human life, when it comes to our lives. So in life, there are different stages. So there are different stages of life. In life, there, yeah, like I said, and there is a built-in timer in the body that warns people, it warns us, warns people about each stage of life. And the problem is a lot of people are too busy to hear the timer when it rings in the body. So a lot of people are too busy to hear the timer. So we're going to look into each of the life's stages. The first one is the childhood stage. And the second one is the teenagehood stage. The third one is the adulthood stage. And the one after the adulthood is the middle agehood stage. Middle agehood stage. And then after that, we have the elderhood stage. And then we have the old agehood stage. So I will try to explain them one by one quickly. So the early stages of life, this is the childhood stage here. So it covers from 0 to 12 years old. 0 to 12 years old. And this stage of life, people don't have many worries. You don't have many worries. You don't, because other people are responsible for your well-being, you know. So other people are responsible for your well-being and also for your needs. So you don't really have any worries at this stage of life. Life is pretty simple at this stage. All you have to do at this stage is just to grow, to learn how to grow or to keep growing, So that's what you need to learn how to do at this stage. And also, this is the stage that is good to start learning about God as well. So the learning about God also starts at this childhood stage, obviously, because this is a kingdom well-being. So, like I said, when we say kingdom, we mean God, because for us Christians, God is our spiritual pillar. All right, so Jesus is our spiritual pillar. So then we go on. I'll quickly talk about the next stage, which is the teenagehood stage. So the teenagehood stage, it starts from 13 upwards to the age of 20. So from 13 to 20, that's the teenagehood stage. So at this stage, learning kind of speeds up. And that's because the body hormones are starting to speed up as well at this age. So this is the age where the body hormones begin. So like maybe from the age of 12, some people have it a bit early, maybe 11. So they start to like, the body hormone begins. So in a female teenager, for example, between the age of 12 and 13, maybe they start to see their menstrual period. So that's because the hormone is just waking up. So that's the age range where the hormones begin. And also as they grow up to like maybe 15, 16, 17, the hormones um, starts to increase. So the body hormones starts to speed up. So the hormone is doing that in order to speed up their growth. So that's the stage where growth hormone increases. And when the growth hormone is increasing, there are other hormones that are also increasing, like the reproductive hormones. Hormones, I'll tell us about hormones because they are very, very important to well-being. They are important to our well-being. So the hormones are very, very important to your well-being. So I'll still talk about hormones. But at the teenagehood, that's the stage where learning increases. The body hormone, that's because the hormones are speeding up. And that is a problem because the hormones are just beginning and because the hormones are just beginning at that stage, that is a problem because the body is not used to that. And that's why you see a lot of teenagers, they don't feel comfortable in their body, or they have a bit of issues when it comes to their body. It's because their hormones are just starting to come out, and that affects their mood. It affects moods, it affects their emotions. Okay, so this is where learning about the body begins. The teenagehood, that's where learning about the body starts. So this is the best time to start teaching a child about their body. So you notice even at schools, they start to teach them about their body, maybe all the different systems in the body, digestive system, and things like that, the reproductive system, all those things. So it's a good time to educate a child about the human body and how it functions. So so that they are not caught by surprise. But I'm telling you, a lot of young girls are always caught by surprise, and even young boys as well. They go through their own as well because their voice starts to change because their hormone just started as well. So their voice starts to break. Maybe they start to see hair growing on their chin, on their no, things like that. They start seeing changes. So it's a bit of a problem, but it's not a huge problem. It's a kind of tiny problem for the young ones or younger ones to deal with. So but I'll talk a bit more about it. So it's a kind of surprise stage because the hormones are just starting out. Okay, so now let's talk about hormones because I mentioned hormones start from the teenagehood. So let's talk about hormones. So hormones generally are what controls our emotions. They are what controls people's emotions. Yes, hormones are they are part of growth. They are part of growth in life. So hormones are there to support life. All right. So hormones are there to support life. Um, so they are there to support life, and they are there as a timer. Hormones are there in the body, in human body, as a timer that God has put in there, you know, to signal the different stages of life, to signal the new stages of life. So hormones are very, very important in life growth, even in life itself, in living. Hormones are important. Um, and they are present in both male and female. So it's not just women that goes through all these things. Even men also go through all these hormonal changes and mood changes. But it is very, very should I say it's at a large extent in female than in male. So, and also the way that male are designed, way that men are designed, they are not known for talking about things like this. For them, it's a private thing, and because it doesn't really give them pain, like maybe in a woman in a female situation with a menstrual period, so they don't really get pain with theirs, but they see, I think they see things like what is it called again? Something like night wet dreams or something like that. So their reproductive starts to grow, so they experience growth. So, but because those things are a bit quiet, so it disorients them in a bit of way, but not as much as in the female. If you so the in the female is a bit disruptive. um so but that's the way it comes. But the hormones, I think the hormones have to do that in order to be able to generate the growth hormone and the other important hormones that each individual needs. So like maybe female and male and the male. So the hormone needs to do the what it needs to do in order for each person to grow, in order for each person to become, to start flourishing. So I will explain it better. So it happens in both male and female. Also, hormones, they have their onset and their offset. So onset is generally between the age of 13, and offset is generally up to the age of 60. I don't know, in men, I think it might take longer than 60 for their hormones to offset. Offset just means that the hormone is at its lowest. So it's not like the hormone goes away, it's like at the lowest. And there are different issues that goes with that. So yeah, a lot of people don't understand that there are hormones in their bodies. They don't have the awareness, and people that do, they don't understand what the hormones does in the body, and they don't understand the effects of the hormones and the different levels of the hormones. They don't understand all those things. So yeah, it's important to well-being. That's why I wanted to cover it in this particular wellness class today. So the next stage after teenagehood is the adulthood. So the adulthood generally runs from 20, or let's say 21, runs from 21 to 40. All right, so the adult stage runs generally from 21 to 40. And this stage is usually an enjoyable stage, is usually an enjoyable season, for most people, for a lot of people, because at this stage, the hormone is already steady. The hormones are already steady at this stage. So a lot of people enjoy this stage. So things that most people couldn't do as a child, before they start to do it. They are now free to do those things because they are adults. People go ahead and get jobs. They start making money. People start having friends, being able to go to their friends' place by themselves. Being free to do a lot of things. People start getting married. People start having families, start having children. So it's a pretty steady stage of life. But the slight problem is that by the time the body alarm is ringing for the next stage, people are already very, very busy or very engrossed with the adulthood. So they don't know that the next stage is already knocking. A lot of people don't know. And they get into trouble for it because a lot of people enter into midlife crisis. A lot of people enter into midlife crisis because they are not prepared for the next stage of life, of the hormone levels and of life. So, and another thing is that even if people are preparing, sometimes the next stage, which is the middle agehood, sometimes it overlaps. It overlaps with the adulthood. So sometimes it comes early so for example, I've said adulthood finishes at 40, but some people, their middle agehood comes in at 38. So it's a bit, so it's like plus or minus 2 years, so it's not like a fixed thing. It varies for different people. So, but generally, adulthood is enjoyable. The hormones are steady. There's not much of a mood swing at that stage because the hormones are fully grown. They are busting. They are steady. So it's when the hormones are starting out, that's when a bit of instability. So that's why the teenagehood is a sensitive period, and that's why a lot of teenagers need support, but a lot of their parents don't know that they are going through a lot. They don't know that they need support with their mind, with their spirit, with their body. So, but I'm sure this module is revealing a lot of things. So then the next stage after the adulthood is the middle agehood. And at this point, the body and the soul are generally overloaded. So by the time people are getting to like 38, 39, 40, their mind is already overloaded. Even their body is already overloaded due to the different kind of diets that they've been having, or even due to the way that they have been mistreating their bodies without knowing. So a lot of people will just eat any kind of fast food because they are busy. A lot of people will eat whilst they are working. They don't take proper breaks. They just feel like they are Superman or they are Superwoman. So by the time they are getting to like 40, their spirit, soul, and body is already overloaded with life's concerns, like their marriage, their children, their extended family members, their workplace, their different relationships with their colleagues. So their whole life is already overwhelmed. But a lot of people still don't understand that. They still keep going as if they are still like, in their 25s or in their 30s. So they still keep going. And that's when they face midlife crisis, or they face health crisis. All right. So that's when they face health crisis. And the thing that is called midlife crisis. Okay. So Their spirit, most people, their spirit is often not getting enough attention either. So um, they're not really like communicating with God as such, because they are too busy. They don't really have a prayer life. And that's why I'm bringing this on in this kingdom reset, to bring the awareness, you know, because when you have the awareness, when you have the right understanding and the right support, like you're getting now with this kingdom reset with Winning Life Academy, you you know exactly what you need to do at the right time. You know exactly when to take a break. You know exactly how to handle different things. All right. Okay. So also the world systems, the way it has been designed, the way the world system has been designed. And when I'm talking about the world system, I'm talking about the education system, I'm talking about the job system, and even university systems and things like that. So the way they have been designed, they have been set up in such a way as to, if you're busy, if you're not busy, you're not normal. So they have been set up like that. So they are set up in such a way that if you are not being overly busy, you are not normal. So that's what all those three systems, that's what they are teaching people. You have to be very busy. You have to be overly busy. You have to be overproductive. That's what, because even at secondary school, they'll say they are training the children, and they'll say they are stretching the children so that they can have what is it called? They can have there's this word that they use. I'm trying to remember that word. Tenacity, or what's the other word? They're saying they're training them to have tenacity, to be able to cope under pressure. So at that young age, they start to instill a lot of pressure on them at school. So they give them so much homeworks within 1 week that they have to do. Oh, goody. So, I mean, all the systems, the education system, and when I say education system, I just mean the academic system, because education in itself is not school. School is not education. Education is not school. Education is the study about life. Education is learning about life. And to learn about life, you can do that outside of school. It's not only in school that you can learn about life. So the education that they give at school is called academics. And there are different types of education. That there are education that actually starts from the family, even before school time. And there are educations that continues within the family. There are different types of education. There's, like you're doing today now, you're getting the well-being education. This is a type of education that is not even taught at school. There's money education. There's marriage education. There's parenting education. Those things are not being taught at school. So that's why the school education is called academics. So academics, the way they've designed the system and the job system is to make people to be overly busy. So that's why a lot of people don't listen to their body. They don't listen to their hormones. They don't even understand what's going on in their life until they break down. So it's important for people to get wisdom and learn how to slow down. So which is, that's not how to live. It leads to, like I said, it leads to midlife crisis. So self-awareness usually starts from this stage, and most people don't always like what they see. Most people don't always like what they find out, because when this stage forces them to stop and to take a break, most people don't like it, because it makes them break down during the midlife crisis. It stops people on their track, and it's there for a reason. This stage of life is there for a reason, because if not, people will not slow down until they are actually dead. God forbid bad thing. So this stage is there for a reason. So the middle age hood is another stage that is a sensitive stage, as well as the teenagehood stage. Frequent challenges include stress. People have stress build up, leading to burnout. People experience anxiety disorder. People experience panic, due to hormone fluctuations. People experience depression, mood disorder. Some people experience sleep disturbance. You know, some people experience, sleep disorder. Some people experience no social activities. People are not, they're not very social at this stage. So those are the different symptoms or challenges that people face at middle age. And that's why it's important that once you're getting to like 40, it's very important to seek help. And that's why I'm glad that you're seeking help today, and I'm able to do this presentation to help you and a lot of different women that will be enrolling on this program. So it's very important to get help, to get support. It's because people find themselves in different situations that they don't have control over that situation. They need an external person to come in and actually help them to make a meaning out of their situation, out of what they are going through, to help them to understand their emotions, to help them to understand how to regulate their emotions, or how to regulate their hormones, how to work on their hormones, how to slow down properly, and how to reset. And that's why this program is called the Kingdom Reset. And there's a way to join this program. There's a link in my bio on this page. There's a one-to-one chat link, a Calendly link that you can click on to chat with us at Winning in Life Academy. Or you can just comment in the comment section to say support, and we'll send you all the details and the link. Thank you. And also the next stage after adulthood is elderhood. The elderhood, and also the old age hood. So these two stages, I've classed them together because I can't say too much about it, just because I haven't really gone through them myself. But I can still say a few things purely from relating with people that have gone through those stages. The elderhood stage is from 60. It's from 60 to like 75. And the old age hood is like 75 to 100. So the elderhood is a pretty steady stage as well. And that's because all the perimenopause and the menopause stage, they are in the previous stage, the middle age hood stage. So those are things that also causes challenge in the middle age hood. So the middle age hood is like full on turbulence, if I can put it that way. Lord have mercy. So, but by the time the elderhood stage is coming in, everything should be steady. The elderhood stage is pretty steady. So the hormones are already like finding their level. So what happens at middle agehood is that the hormones are reducing. The hormones are starting to reduce. That's why there's a lot of problems at middle agehood. It's because the hormone levels are starting to reduce. So they've been peak. They started from teenagehood. They caused a bit of problem. So they started boosting up, and they've been peaked throughout the adulthood. So once it gets to the middle agehood, that's another timer. At that stage, it's starting to reduce. And that's why people put on weight from their 40s upward, because the hormones are starting to reduce, and it causes a lot of issues, like I said, midlife crisis and the rest of it. So also things like perimenopause, menopause, that's in the middle agehood as well. But the elderhood is pretty, stable. I'm in a meeting at the moment. All right. Sorry about that. Somebody just stepped in. All right. So no problem. Um, Yes, so let me quickly carry on. So if proper support is not seek after, at the stage before, at the middle agehood, if proper support is not seek, then the elderhood might be a bit of challenge, or the old agehood might be a bit of challenge. So that's why proper support should be sought after, especially for the middle agehood stage. All right. Yeah. So once you get a good hang of things from the middle agehood, you have a smooth ride in the elderhood. And once you've learned how to eat well, to eat the right kind of food, the right balanced diet, right from the middle agehood, you also enjoy the old age hood, because the old age hood, in fact, from the middle age hood, the hormones are already on their offset. So the hormones are already on their lowest level. They are offset already. They believe that they finished their work right from the whole elderhood. Elderhood is between 60 and 75. So right from that stage, the hormones they are retiring, kind of. So they are getting to their lowest. Um, so that lowest point is what is going to take people through their old age. And that explains why old people are kind of slow, taking things easy. So that's the level of the hormones that is left for that stage. All right. So yeah, it's very important. So I've done a summary here. So the most challenging stages are the teenagehood, out of everything that I've explained. So there are three most challenging stages. First one is teenagehood, second one is middle agehood, and the last one is the third one is the old agehood. But the most serious one, or the most important one, is the middle agehood, when people turn 40. So between 40 and 60, or between 40 and 65. That's the most important stage of life in the adulthood, in life. So it's very crucial for you to get the right kind of support. Get the experts, get the coaches to support you one-on-one, like today, for example. So yeah, so you can get help. So for this kingdom reset, I'll quickly give you the solution for this kingdom wealth reset, because this reset, this one we are doing here, is different from the ones that that other people do outside. And that's why this one is called kingdom. It's designed for Christians, for Christian women, and even Christian men can also benefit from this reset, this kingdom reset. So so there is only one proven solution for each of these stages, which is to actually reinvent yourself. And the way for you to reinvent yourself, before I tell you the way to reinvent yourself, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, and do not be conformed to this world." So it says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." So the best way for you to the best solution for these problems is what I call personal development program. And that's why the entire program that Winning Life Academy offers is called the Kingdom Wealth Personal Development Transformation Program. So that's the full program. But this reset stage, this kingdom reset stage, is the first stage. Is the first stage. So this reset stage is to help you to slow down and help you to, reset. That's what this stage is for. So when you have all of this understanding, the reason why I've done this understanding your well-being module is because I need you women, you ladies, to understand the reason why you are slowing down, the reason why you need a reset, what is actually going on in your physiological in your physiology that you don't really understand. So I, for one, I studied biochemistry. So this is 2 in 1 for you guys, because I'm a woman of faith and I'm also a scientist, a biochemist. So so that's why I think I'm able to break this down. So reinventing yourself will really help you um, in all these different stages, but not just reinventing yourself on top of piling up stress. No. So there has to be a break. There has to be a reset first before you reinvent yourself. So there has to be a break where you get the help. Then there has to be a reset, which is what we are doing now in this kingdom reset. So reset is when you are getting new information and you are letting go of the old information, that because the old information cannot help you to get to your next level. So the old information have done its job and they have gotten you to this stage of midlife crisis, stress, burnout. So they are expired. So you need to let go of those old information and you need to start receiving new sets of information. That's why a coach like me is important. That's why, getting this information is important. Okay. So yeah, so that's the end of this presentation. The most important thing is that you should get help, get support, because your middle agehood is very, 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 very important. If you get the support right for your middle agehood, and you go through the break, the reset, and then the reinvention, then you are likely to do well in your elderhood stage and in your old age stage. All right. So this stage is called the reset, which is what I'll be helping you to achieve during these coaching sessions. All right. So my name is Buki Grace. I'm a Kingdom Wealth Coach and a Christian life success coach as well. All right. So yeah, and this is just to say what we are covering in the next class, next module. All right, so I will stop sharing and I'll stop recording for now so that I can take any questions. Let me find the buttons first of all. The button is not coming up. Okay. Yeah, so you can click on the link on this Within the Life Academy page to find out more information.